Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 117. Right now, this is the pre-show. This is where we just banter about just some general life stuff or gaming news that we might deem we just want to talk about and see you all to hear. Then after a few minutes, we'll get the podcast started. So how y'all doing tonight?
Chilling. I got my Ryan on and had some chicken wings.
Gosh.
Oh, what flavor did you get?
I did some just the Chinese salt and pepper wings. Delicious.
The what? I'm not familiar with. Is that like a sauce or like a dry rub or a style?
It's the Chinese wings. They're salt and pepper.
Does that mean like you got them at a Chinese restaurant?
That's correct. Yeah.
Huh. I never had chicken wings from a Chinese. Well,
Yeesh.
had them from a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah,
You might be familiar. You might be familiar with El Toro Loco.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Chet, would you say
Banger
that
of a place.
they kind of toss them in another like set of oil with the seasonings, like post fry, to get it coated in the salt and pepper?
Some places might. The places that I've been to haven't.
All right. That's the ones I've had, but I don't know if it was Chinese. It might have been, a different Asian place, but it's definitely like they added the seasoning, the salt and pepper, or all that goodness like afterwards, and it's kind of like they get something to stick on there. It was a little bit of oil added, or it could have been butter.
Delicious.
Could have been butter.
I'm down with that too. Can't go wrong with butter.
Yep.
I been looking at grilling me a pizza on my grill, trying to see how this is gonna go. That's gonna be my project for vacation next week. Like after we get back.
Yeah. Have you
I think so.
Have you watched some videos? You did little research, or you just oh, this is
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The main thing is I haven't decided if I'm gonna use a cast iron, or if I'm just gonna go just raw dog it right on there.
It's not a flat top, right? You don't got a flat top portion.
So it's an infrared grill, which it's not exactly like a grate. It is a grate, but
Gotcha.
they fit together, they nestle together, right? So there are holes, but not like just a typical charcoal grated grill. It could work. It could definitely work. So what I probably will do is I'll do both. I'll do one way, and then also do it the same way. If you hear the giant siren, that's on my end. So much apologies. It's not on your end.
Yeah. I seen now at Saints Club they have the members mark version of the Uni. So
How much?
it's I think it's 200 or less.
Yeah. Is that the propane one or the wood pellet one?
Propane. So the thunderstorm's hitting here in central Ohio, so hopefully my internet doesn't drop. So I don't know if you get
Here comes the second siren here.
Yeah, I don't know if you get very many thunderstorms out there in California, Chad.
I think it only rains 27 days a year out there.
If that, we're lucky if it's that many. You think we get a full February's worth of rainy days? Get out of here.
Drought boy.
Yep. Just the way this state is.
Oh, here.
But
Number
no,
3. Third round of the
I've been to
siren.
Mexico. There's some real deal
Obnoxious.
thunderstorms out there.
Mm.
So I've been around it thunderstorm with hail. That's fun. That was an interesting one. You just start hearing that rolling
was that like
thunder,
your
and all of a sudden,
was that your first
ting, ting, ting.
that's your first hell experience?
Well, yeah. Well, you think I'm gonna get hail here?
The way I see it, you live in hell out there. To me, so
Oh man. Then you'll never visit, which is sad for you.
oh my god, a fourth round of the siren. This is the first. There must be something serious going on.
I like that he tells people that he's sorry about the siren, but it only happens when he's talking, but he starts talking when the siren's coming.
Listen, I had a very good California hell joke. I couldn't let that one pass up.
Well, you did? I didn't hear anything. Oh, the hell thing.
Yeah.
No, it was hail. Like ice balls in Mexico. Little balls of ice.
I didn't realize. I'm not trying to be funny. I didn't realize you could get hell that close to the equator.
I mean, it's about altitude, dog. Mountains near the equator still get snow.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about how high up Mexico City is. It's higher than Denver.
Like a mile high.
It's more. I think it's 2 miles high.
Let's see here. About 77,350 feet.
About not even a mile and a half high.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
But it's still pretty good.
pretty high. I'd like to get that high one time.
Just once.
I heard California's the place to be to do that.
I thought it was Denver was the place to be to do that.
I've heard it both ways.
That's why John Elway stayed out there. All right, you guys ready? Remember, you got to hit the button twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Somebody
man.
fix that?
We didn't, we missed a very, I do have a giveaway, by the way. I actually have one giveaway. And it was in honor of episode 117 for the podcast. Let's do it in the pre-show. Should we do it in the pre-show or should we do it somewhere out? It's Halo Infinite skin.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, this is episode 117. We didn't miss it.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. I almost forgot that I had it though.
Oh, okay.
It was sent in by the Dark Case. He are you familiar with the Dr. Squatch soaps?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I use that stuff all the time.
Yeah. So like the Master Chief
Getting squatchy.
scent
Yeah.
for flavor scent came in. And it was like the most requested one to come back, I guess. And inside of it they stuffed in codes. Oh, actually I think he sent me. Yeah, I actually have 3 codes.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. Let's see.
I mean, there's 3 of us.
Yeah.
But
Well, maybe I actually have 4. 1 for me, 2 for you guys, and 1 to give away. Did you ever think about that? Maybe I've already redeemed mine.
No, we legitimately did not think that.
Yeah. Well, the more you know.
Dun, dun,
All right.
dun, dun.
I'm gonna we'll go ahead and do it now. In order to redeem, you need to go to www.halowaypoint.com/redeem. And this can be Chad's code that I'm giving away here.
Yeah.
I'm like, how's he gonna do this?
I'm not redeeming it. So
No, I'm just teasing. I have you guys each a code, honestly. 5 3 VZ Y6QAUD6PBNRHHW2V. So, Dark Ace, thank you for your service. You are the biggest CCB that there is for the show.
All right, now send me that code.
After the show.
Okay, I'll leave the website up. That way I don't forget. Because I will forget.
I thought it'd be. I don't know what the armor skin looks like, but I thought it'd be really cool if it put like soap suds on your armor or something.
Like a soap sud effect. That would be really sweet.
yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping for.
That'd be super dope.
But we know 343 couldn't pull that off. So
No.
all right.
They barely could do the inclement weather.
Eyes up, Guardian. We are live for episode 117 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is June the 15th, and I, the Destiny bad boy, NotRyanFox, have returned with my fire team, who all of you CCBs know by now. Jared?
yeah, we got a TWID that Bungie did a Q&A with their self, basically. And then we got some Lightblade talk. We have Gambling Corner, and then we have a weapons breakdown with the ending the Last Wish weapons.
And the chronicler himself, chadocero.
We are going to be ending the Ghosts of the Deep lore with the weapons and the exotic weapon, and also adding in the Sparrow, because why not?
And remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget that you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, comment, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us Bungie friend request. The Dirty F and Hippie brought us the TWID this week. But before we get into that, let's listen to our intro music from everybody's favorite Link, who you can find on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG.
All right, everyone. We are changing over our back-end stuff here if you're still listening to this on YouTube. I wanted to get this changed around.
Squiggles. Yep.
Yep.
Wobble, wobble, wobble. Okay. Very cool intro music, Link. Thank you so much for that. Jared, do you want to get into the TWID for us?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, Bungie did a Q&A with themselves. And this is kind of going back to the feedback that the Destiny 2 team wanted for the game. And they put that out on Twitter. So this is some of the questions and showed up the most that they wanted to talk about. And so we'll go over some of it. And first here, PvE ability uptime is very high, and it's increased global changes and base cooldowns. You just have your abilities a lot more. And what are their thoughts about ability energy economy? And their answer is it's something that they always evaluating and adjusting with massive number of sources that can grant ability energy. It's always an area of concern. While they don't have any sweeping changes to announce today, this is a continual area of focus for us, so that they're always listening, always watching. And Destiny's identity is fundamentally rooted in space magic, power fantasies, but we don't want ability uptime to balloon to a point where a power spike from active abilities ceases to become a spike and becomes the norm. So they don't want the storm grenades from Titans. Remember when they first got launched with lightning strikes twice, to where you're like one phase in bosses with just doing grenades. Even though that was fun.
The good old days.
Yeah. I understand why, but it's just like we were always going to use the most powerful thing. If it's our guns, we're going to use the most powerful guns. If it's your abilities, we're using the most powerful abilities, or like whatever it is to help us clear ads or take a boss down. So they just got to keep rotating. They'll just keep rotating it out, you know.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Like at the end of the day, like we want to play the game. Like there has to be some challenge. If there's no challenge, then you don't get that super awesome feeling of finally completing something that's difficult. So I'm all for it. I understand that, once you've done something 25 or 30 times, you're just kind of looking for the path of least resistance at that point. But it shouldn't be trivial to do these things.
Next up is Tangle's cooldown. Basically, it's kind of really annoying that you're doing like some of your builds in Strand revolve around getting Tangles. And there's a cooldown of 15 seconds right now on Tangles. Is there any chance they're going to look into changing that? Bungie talked about with their early days of playtesting Tangles and Strands, and like the cooldown was really low. And it's basically, as Fox mentioned, make stuff trivial. Very easy to complete. But they are targeting to change it from 15 seconds to 12 seconds cooldown. Broodweaver and its threadlings are not very good at like more of an in-game content, but very good and like just general strikes and taking out enemies. So they're taking a look at threadlings and probably giving them a buff. But also suspend is way too strong as it is right now. So suspend is probably going to be getting a nerf here very soon.
And I think we can all agree suspend is too strong, right? It is very good and very easy. Like, if you're 100 resilience Titan, you just throw your barricade down and you can suspend stuff. Like it's pretty easy to do as well.
Well, yeah, it's wild. It definitely needs to be cut back quite a bit for it to be not just super oppressive. And I mean, even in the Hunter play kit, you get double suspend grenades, you get the dive, and I think does the exotic give you a second dive? Is that what the Strand exotic does?
You get a second grenade with that helmet. You get Woven Mail.
Yeah, but like with the way abilities are at the moment, you could basically cycle through each of those and get the first one back by the time you're done using the last one. If you wait for the suspend to run out. It's wild. And it's awesome, but it's too much. It's just a bit too much.
But this is build crafting. Like if you want your dodge slam to be up all the time on a hunter, you're going to do everything you can to build into that of your play style. Like that's fun. Like if you want to slam everything and you devote your entire setup to it, you should be doing that.
And I think the dodge slam is the best one from a designer standpoint, because you put yourself in more danger than the grenade. You can chuck a grenade all the ways away, but with the slam, you got to be up close and personal with them. So if they relegated that specific one to like the slam suspend is like 2 seconds longer than just the general base one, okay, you're putting yourself at more of a risk. But like the grenade, 12 seconds of suspend just to throw a grenade in a group, like that's crazy.
I always hated like whenever I would play like Titan or I didn't really care much for the Hunter kit, but whenever that, like I would go back to playing Warlock, it just wasn't as fun because we really didn't have a great way to suspend. Like we had the threadling, we had better ways to do threadlings, but I don't know. Like if you're doing like a legendary campaign or if if you don't run strikes or any of that, like you really don't have a great place to use the threadlings.
So yeah, strand overall. Suspend is just out of the box, super strong. Threadlings, don't bring them up to speed. That's usually the flow. At least it didn't launch like stasis, where it's absolutely just taking over everything. Hand cannons in PVE. Shout out Chad's Midnight Coup that he refuses to delete. Those are just like strapped to the hip. It is Destiny, in my opinion. Hand cannons are go hand in hand. Huh? So in PVE, the damage scaling of what happened post Shadowkeep nerf was really tough on hand cannons, and especially with the amount of shots in the mag and the reload speed compared to stuff like SMGs. They kind of lag behind. So what Bungie's going to be doing here, along with the other changes, they've been buffed 3 times. They said since that time with that Shadowkeep nerf. They're going to up the reload speed, and then also increase the damage against minors and red bars by 20%, and increase the damage against majors, that is the orange bars, by 75%. And they also are redoing or recreating heavy burst hand cannons. So the old Warden's Law that I would refuse to delete and always keep it in the vault in case Bungie screws up some coding. That is going to be now a heavy burst hand cannon, and this fires a 2-round burst and is overall much more satisfying to use than the previous version, while still benefiting from its unique properties of the original. So, what do you think? Which weapon next season is a heavy burst hand cannon?
That'd be neat. At least that'd be weird. Is that change happening next season?
Yes, this is a future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'd be down with it because it'd be weird.
I think it'd be good.
Do you think they'll do that, or do you think they will make one of the seasonal weapons that you can get?
It'll be easily available next season, I would say.
Yeah, and they'll probably do like 2 of them.
Yeah.
You can get one. Well, we don't know. Thinking out loud, we don't know which raid's coming back because they've kind of shot down the 2 popular theories. Have kind of been shot down. So if it's one of the other ones, I know they said there was something about, like, if the exotic's already been out, they'd have to have a new exotic, or if there's not enough weapons, they might have to add weapons into the loot pool. So maybe with a new reprised raid coming, maybe they add one in there plus a seasonal. Maybe that's how they get a couple different ones.
All right. Kinetic weapons are getting used less and less, and that's because of builds involving strand, stasis, and everything else. A lot of strand surges that's been going on since the launch of Nightfall. So they are aware of kinetics like just falling by the wayside, not really having a main reason to use them, and they're looking into the future of more things to do about that. Glaives. They have been trying people. These cult people. I think it's a cult. If you love glaives, you're just part of the glaive cult. And people always bringing them up. They're always in these seasonal artifact. Like, man, they keep asking about them. So they're going to make a pass at them again, make them more satisfying in PvP. And the class specific exotic glaives are not performing the way they want to be, so also don't give those a touch up too. But at this point, I would say just stop. Just stop with them. Just give it up.
Stop it. Get some help.
Just stop making
I was trying
sidearms.
so hard not to
Stop
say
making glaives. And we're going to be in a better spot.
Listen, man. Do you think? I know I kind of missed this, but do you think hand cannons are nerfed down because they have to be careful with like the PvP balance because it increases the skill gap too much if hand cannons are good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why like the PvE kind of gets the shaft on them a bit.
Yeah, because like once you start making hand cannons creep up past the 40-meter range, they just control every map.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like where it is now, like they can like tune SMGs, they can tune like there's some like auto rifle, but like once a hand cannon gets to a certain point, like you're handicapping yourself to not play with one.
Yep.
But I think and I think hand cannon shotgun is the best. That's my favorite Crucible meta.
Look,
Or hand cannon sniper, you know.
yeah, it's
either one.
It's no doubt the best. And then like you throw in SMGs because like people are moving around the map. Because right now people are just sitting around laning with scout rifles and pulse rifles. That's not fun. It's not.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot whenever Gears of War tried to move into like a Lancer meta as opposed to just a shotgun meta, everybody running around with the Nashers. And they're like, oh, we want other guns to be viable. And then that's when the game kind of died. And I feel like it's been about the same way. So.
Yep. Here's a question. It's like, how does Bungie determine what gets nerfed or buffed, and what's the parameters looking into a season or over to the next season? There's a lot of things they look into here, but basically it's internal feedback of playtesting, and like they play the game themselves. Live feedback, like looking on Twitter or seeing people play the game on Twitch, aka just listen to Salted Grepo and Dado. And then also like how they feel, how effective the weapon is. You know, if the win rate of a certain weapon in trials is, you know, really creeping up, or just if you're not using that weapon, you're not going to win. And then also what it takes to go into to change the weapon or changing how it works, the design of it. And then the rarity of the weapon, like how hard is it to attain? Is it you know, is it gate kept and stuff like that? So that's kind of what goes into the formula of buffing and nerfing. All right. Any further exotic tuning planned for the future, and what's the thought process behind these planned changes? So they have just shipped Season 21, and Season 22 is complete. Season 23 is in full production, and the final shape is in its early production of exotic tuning. So that's exotic weapon, maybe some exotic, definitely exotic armor, some exotic weapons. So that kind of shows you where they're at. They're 6 to 9 months ahead of tuning exotics. So it's feedback on the exotic now. You might see some changes 6 to 9 months down the road.
In our live service game.
And again, like the last question we just talked about, it goes into the design of it. You know, like if they bust Celestial Nighthawk by giving everything plus 50 AE when you have the helmet on, that's an instant change. You know, that's not something they had to go back and rework it, like they did Vesper Radius. Vesper Radius, and they made it pulse every 5 seconds. So there's two different levels of buffing the exotic. They want, man, the Stompy hunters do get on my nerves as a hunter, man. Like they
hate your own kind.
They put them on and never took them off, and he's like, I just can't play without them. And they want to know why the Stompy changes that just happened this season. So I actually played, I don't know, maybe 10 games with them so far this season, just to see how it is. I like it way better than the minus 50 AE stat that was on them before. You feel it after you use that dodge. You can't get away so easy. So if you didn't know, you have to have a full dodge ability in order to Stompies to do all their additional slide, jumping, and movement speed bonuses. Movement should come at a cost. This is something that is Bungie has put into the game. after years of the Go Fast update going unmatched for a while with Stompy Hunters, Icarus Dash Warlocks, and then the Shoulder Bash Titans. Everybody had the ability to go fast, and they've reined that back in some. So that's exactly what we just went too fast. The skill cap is too big. That's why.
Not a competitive shooter. It's a PvE game that has multiplayer. That's just how you have to look at it.
All right. Is there any plans for more exotic armor interactions, but stuff like the Aquatic Grip and the Weapons of Sorrow? We feel these special connections between exotics are best when they are a little bit hidden. That being said, we like to add more of them to the game, especially Hunters and Titans. Keep an eye out for the future. So that's great. There's a lot of cool stuff. I know they kind of have it now with Malfeasance, doing that to take, like doing just damage to taken. You can make something taken by putting Witherhoard on it. So that was going to buff Malfeasance and the bow. I forgot the name of the bow with anti-barrier. Wishender, yep. So more of that stuff is great to me. I actually wish they'd go a step farther to make certain enemies interact differently per like weapon. Like ogres, they're big and strong. So like a rocket or grenade launcher should be able to stun them, but not a sniper or any other like weapons that's just doing precision damage. Shouldn't be able to like. You know how you can like hit enemies and they kind of like stagger a little bit, not unstoppables, but so like I feel like that should also go into a step in the game sometime. Well, maybe like certain bosses just straight up like it shows a debuff on them that they take less damage from rockets, but they take increase from snipers. You know, so instead of it being hidden in damage testing, of knowing the difference between bosses and mini bosses, like it should be on the screen or on the boss's name.
Almost like if you had a scan ability, you could pull it up and then almost like a RPG type system where it had like weaknesses to, different weapons or even different like damage types like arc, void, something like that. That'd be cool. Make a play a lot more into the RPG side that they kind of like dip their toes in and then quickly pull it back out, it seems like. But I've been in that Final Fantasy grind, so that's where my head is when it comes to that stuff.
Will we see any pre-Lightfall armor mods come back? They're paying close attention to armor and tuning and our mod setups as of right now. They do want to experiment and have fun with more ways to interact with Orbs of Power and Armor Charge. And the plan is to do some with the seasonal artifact. So we'll see how they experiment with the seasonal artifact going forward. So I don't think Wells are going to come back if that's what people are wanting here. I think once Bungie moves past something like that, like Warmind Cells and Wells, they don't really bring that kind of stuff back.
No, they kind of like the evolving meta, like changing things. So usually when something's gone, it rotates out and it's gone forever.
They are working on favoriting shaders in the future. And any more details or confirmations regarding the HUD or UI updates? Nothing they're going to share for now, but they are working on something to show closer to the final shape. So I think that meant like your buffs and debuffs screen, like on the left side of your screen, and information to players. All right, so that's it for the TWIB for the second week. It's time for 3 likes and 3 dislikes. So I'll go ahead and lead us off here. After playing around in Ghost of the Deep for a little while now, we kind of figured out how to do the 2-phase pretty easily on the boss, and that's like the most you ever want to get on these these normal versions of the dungeon boss that, like, if you go past 2, you're like, man, we screwed that up. So obvious will lock. Then you have a galley, and then you have 2 guys on legendary rockets with tracking in column 3, or a tracking rocket, and then with frenzy or explosive light as the easy 2 phase. It just makes it a lot better. And also, Chad, wasn't you doing something like you was popping the boss's shield when something happened?
So the way we ran it, which made it a lot smoother after the debacle we had last week with all 3 of us, is we'd have 2 people. Once you figure out what symbols need to be dunked, you have 2 people grab their symbols, come back and dunk at their appropriate place, and then the third person leaves. So what that does is that lets 2 people ad clear in the main room, and then I would sit and wait on wherever we decided to do damage from. Usually it was typically wherever Jared dunked last. That way he'd be right there for us for a well, and we could do damage from there. But right when he dunks, he calls it out, and I used Arbalest to pop her shield immediately. I'm not sure how much of a time difference you have, but essentially, if you pop it fast enough, she doesn't teleport at all during the damage phase. She does like one really big slide, like in a direction left or right, but then she stops moving completely after that. She's just sitting there wailing on you, and Thrall are coming up and doing their stuff. But if you can pop her shield, I want to say within a second or 2 of the shield being able to take damage, she won't move. So that made rockets extremely viable for us, which made it a very easy 2 phase. And I'm talking like we got her down to like 20-25% health every time. The 3 times that Jared and I did it, we got her all the way down there, no problem.
Still sucks though. That boss room sucks. It wouldn't be bad. Like, I finally figured out last night. I was like, there is cover everywhere in this boss room. Like, why is it? What's the deal? The primary thing that's going to kill you is the boss floats. So the angles, you think you're behind cover, but the boss is in the air. So they have an angle on you at all times. And whenever you go to activate deep sight, it puts you in a stupid animation to just sit there and get pounded. Like, if they fix those 2 things, or like make the cover taller or something, it wouldn't be that bad. But because of that, it's annoying. And then like you'll be like at this part of the map, and you'll start to get overwhelmed. So you'll go to rotate, and as you're running to rotate, stuff will spawn in front of you. So you'll continue to rotate, and then stuff will spawn in front of you, and then you'll continue to rotate, and then you'll stop behind cover to start killing stuff, and then the boss just pounds you. So that was my primary issues at that boss room. But much better this way than how we were doing it previously. And Apex Predator, if you have it crafted, you can get the tracking frenzy, like right off the bat.
Yep.
We figured
Right
out.
off the rip.
And that comes from the Last Wish raid. And then the other one, Jared, I think, did you say it was Red Herring?
Yep.
That's one from like one of the was that one of
that's
the
Lightfall.
initial
That's
Witch
the
Queen?
Savathun one.
Witch
Yeah.
Queen. Yeah.
Yeah, the one from Witch Queen, like the very first season.
Throne
And
World
so
one,
like
baby.
you're probably able to do that. So I would say realistically, like get it to level 7 or 8, you can probably craft that. And it was much easier. If you are like new, or you don't have those craftable, Two-Tailed Fox tracks, Truth tracks, it's not going to be ideal, but it's going to be better than anything else you use, I'd imagine.
You can focus for a hothead at Zavala. A hothead has you can get tracking the roll in column 3, and I think you can get tracking on the blowout too from Shax.
The Crucible.
Yeah.
Mm. I wonder how many of those I dismantled trying to get the the demo roll on those.
Yep.
Several. So my is just GMs, man. It's nice to get back in there. Difficult content. I'll speak for myself, and I won't speak for you guys, but I would say we're a little rusty when it comes to some in-game content. You can tell maybe we haven't been as dedicated as previous seasons without having to have so much grind. So we took a few really bad deaths along the way there, and you can watch our entire run on the YouTube channel here. We live streamed it. Like I said, it was raw and uncut, so you saw it as it happened. It wasn't edited up to make us look like we're better than we are. You see the whole thing and all the dumb deaths that we took from the Lucent Hive.
And my like is one-shotting the Lightblade. It was pretty scuffed, but we did it. We did it first try. So that I'm gonna put that as a win in my books.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, we did it. So we made it there. Now my dislike, no matter how cool I think all this is, deep dives are too long. They're just too long. You should be able to end the deep dive on after each encounter if you want to. Like there should be, if so, once you beat the first room, you can either pick up another ASA improvement, or you can hop into the gate to go to the boss encounter. And then if you want to move on, you pick up the enhancement and then you keep going. And if you want to end there after the second room, you jump through the gate or you grab another enhancement and move on. That's the way. This is supposed to be like roguelite is how people are saying it, but that's the way the roguelites work is you after you beat an area, you can either keep it going or just end it and call it a day. But that would make it way better because there's some people that want to try to get tier 7s. I would only want to do that as a group on comms. Right now, I just want the clears. I don't care if people are like, oh, well, you need to do the higher stuff to get the better loot. I'm like, dude, there's no good loot in there. Yeah, I am not spending 25 minutes in one activity for that.
What's the good loot?
Nah, I'm good.
What is it?
No, it's not even good loot. It's just more loot. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm good. I play enough that I don't need to spend 30 minutes in here doing one thing. Yeah. It's wild. Like, it's too long. Like, if that were the case where you could just beat one thing and either continue or go straight to the boss, I'd be all for it. That would be amazing. Because I'd be, and like if you all three of you, because it's match made, so if all three people went through the gate, then you got teleported to the boss. But if one person moved on, you'd be like, no, majority rules. 2 people go through, you get teleported to the boss right away.
Oh my God, but lose their mind.
I know. This is easily fixed. Two matchmaking queues. You have
the quickness.
Yeah.
One for deep dives and one for deeper dives.
Yeah.
It's just a quick. You have quick splash, and then you have the deep dive. So it's one of the 2.
Quick splash.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Just one for your feet wet, one to dive all in.
My dislike is Windows updates and how they are specifically designed to just BF your sound settings and your microphone settings and everything else. So that would be my dislike for this week.
I'll piggyback on that. No doubt. Just like I feel like Windows updates, just so purpose is to screw up sound settings and mic settings and also OBS settings, to where you just lose them all. My dislike is that I think I am coming to the conclusion as of right now. I am not like going to finish seasonal challenges this season. Like it's main goal. Main goal is like I think I'm like 95 on season pass, so I almost have all that done. And after that, I'm like logging in to do the weekly seasonal quest. And then like raids, dungeons, if people are on, and if not, I gotta find something else to do. So,
listen, I've been like this since the second season of last expansion. You do the seasonal quest. You do enough to get to season pass 100 or to be GM ready. You do the GMs. You do the seasonal title, and you do the weapon patterns. That's it. That's all you need.
True.
All right. Speaking of weapon patterns, it's time to hit the weapons breakdown. I think we have 4 Last Wish weapons left, Jared. Is that right?
Yeah. So
The best 4.
no doubt. First up, Supremacy. When this gun first came out, the sniper, it was the best like aim assist sniper in the game because it was at 35 zoom. That is no longer the case. It is now 40 zoom, but definitely a PvP role out there to go for if you choose with Keep Away or Snapshot in column 3 and then Opening Shot in column 4. Now, but the best thing you could do is get appended mag, reround rounds, and 4 times the charm and fire for like a whole minute without having to reload. So, I don't know if anybody's seen that clip out there. They kept Divinity up on Cali, and they fired the weapon until they ran out of ammo. And wow, it was like longer than like. It was like back in the day when you just firing Whisper on a boss, and you just the bullets keep coming back. The bullets keep coming back. So that's really fun.
And like 47 shots or something you get with that.
I think so. Yeah.
Wild.
Now, will we ever have a DPS phase or a boss phase that's going to come into play? Maybe. So for the copium, yeah, go get it. That way you pair it with Anarchy, stick the 2 Anarchies, and just continue to fire the sniper. Next up, Techian Force. And Chad, you might have a PvP role for this, but I've gotten a PvE role that I've actually loved on this thing, and that is a reconstruction with Controlled Burst. So Controlled Burst is a new perk this season, to where if you land every bolt for a certain amount of time, you get increased charge time and increased damage, right? Make sure I'm reading that right.
Would it be decreased charge time?
Yeah, reduce charge time for a certain amount of time. Yeah.
It essentially turns this into like a mini Merciless.
Mm-hmm.
Like Merciless baby. I've seen it. It's pretty cool. I don't have a PvP role for these. I'm a heavy only kind of guy, the heavy hitters.
Okay.
But reconstruction on fusions is hilarious because you do not have reserves. All of your shots are in the magazine, and it's awesome. It's so fun when you pull a gun and the number, it's like a big number on one side and a 0 in reserves because all of your bullets are in the gun. It's great. It's fun to see. Yeah. But I just barely was able to craft that the last time we played Last Wish. I unlocked it. So I haven't leveled it up or anything. But yeah, I'm definitely going for that reconstruction controlled burst for sure. Definitely going to do that because that's so much fun.
Another option for column 3 is reround rounds instead of reconstruction. So, that's just tit for tat, right? Potato, tomato, just difference.
Exactly.
Now, PvP, I would guess it would be under pressure with high impact reserves. It's kickstart, but I think that's the play. And then, Chad, are you going range or stability?
For this guy, it's still probably stability.
Okay.
I only ever go range on the high impact just because I want to make sure that I can. It's weird. It's a feel thing.
Mm.
I like the range on the high impact because you can map people with it.
All right, here's Fox's favorite weapon, Nation of Beasts.
It is a beautiful hand cannon. I still love my role so much that I got previously the curated role. It was basically like a Fatebringer esque gun. But now it's brought back. We can craft it. We got some hammer forged, accurized rounds, keep away explosive payload. It is just a solid hand cannon. I know I saw some videos. I can't remember if it was like ZK Mushroom or one of those like early in the season talking about how nice it was. Actually, it might have been Astacross talking about how nice it was in PvP. So I'm sure you can look that up if that's something you're interested in. I'm not going to be able to really help you there, but it feels real good in PvE. I used it. I used it in the Nightfall actually. So
yeah, so a lot of good roles with this gun. Like that one I mentioned there, you can kind of use in PvP and PvE. That's the crafted role that I decided to go with. But column 3, you have Dragonfly, and then column 4, you have Volt Shard, Kill Clip, Explosive Payload, Golden Tricorn. So those 4 there can be build dependent, be amazing. So
yeah, and then it's just a very, very good all around weapon, which I think it was Outlaw Dragonfly, I think was the curated before.
yeah,
I want to say.
yeah.
So I enjoyed it quite a bit.
All right, finally, probably the number 1 crafted weapon out of the raid, the Apex Predator. It went from absolute insta shred to now the most coveted web border drop of the raid. So a lot of good stuff here with this rocket launcher. As we mentioned off the rip, once you get that pattern, you can go tracking Frenzy for that boss clear. Of our opinion of goes to the deep. Also in column 3, you have Reconstruction, and you have Demolitionist, and you have Incandescent, which I think it's definitely that second tier of perks, but depending on the build. Column 4, mentioned Frenzy. You have Surrounded. We have the new perk Bipod that is right now dead on arrival. However, we know how Bungie is. When they make something new, they eventually will bring it up and make it coveted, because they won't let their the investment time they put in to make that perk go away. You have Explosive Light, Vorpal, and Bait and Switch. So a lot of options. Definitely get one crafted, and once you get one finished crafting, probably start leveling up another one, because they're going to buff some of this other stuff at some point.
Another one. So just a real quick, what is your guys' favorite weapon out of the raid? And let's say 1K is an option.
Okay. Wait, favorite to use, or just overall use right now, or just the time of Destiny too?
Let's just say let's pretend you're new, or you have very little experience in the raid.
Yeah.
Which of the 8 weapons are you most looking for to get? That's a legendary.
I feel like it has to be Apex Predator, in my opinion, for a new player, because how much hype around that rocket is right now, and saying that you got one too. That I think that's number 1.
Another one. I'm over Apex on that one. Plus, rockets are fun for new people, man.
Yeah, it's kind of just a shoot and be done type of thing. I was gonna mix it up. I was actually gonna say Nation of Beasts, just where it's a primary. You get to use it. You don't have to worry about hoarding heavy and not being able to fire it, where it's a primary. So I would say Apex is definitely. I'd say that's a 1A 1B situation, and then Supremacy, just because it's just dumb. Getting that one roll is pretty dumb. So that's kind of probably my all-time favorite raid. I would say is Last Wish. It's been fun getting back in there. I think I need probably 4 to 5 more runs, full clears, and I think I'll have all the patterns wrapped up out of there. So that might be something I try to do this season as well. Get that finished up.
Yeah, I mean, you had 4 bosses and 6 encounters. We get half of that at the most.
Exactly. Now you have 4 encounters.
Yeah.
4 encounters with a jumping puzzle thrown in the middle of it somewhere.
All right, now we're going to have some notes from our Lightblade GM run. For me, I was an Invis Hunter. Try to have as much invisibility up at all times, so I did Graviton Forfeit. I think potentially in these upcoming weeks, I might give Omnioculus another chance and change that up because of the, I'm really feeling the takeaway from Radiant Light, Powerful Friends paired together where you got, 2 tiers of mobility and 2 tiers of strength. Makes that window of Graviton Forfeit pretty tight given my Hunter armor as of right now because you got to get that resilience up. And then I also went double special with Arbalist and forbearance, and then did Hothead for my heavy.
I ran Warlock. I ran the Stasis Warlock with the Freezy turrets, and then the Osmiomancy exotic arm, so I could have 2 turrets up and be working on keeping 2 grenades going the whole time. Weapon wise, I used Arbalist, I used Nation of Beasts, and I used Auto Vorpal Hothead because we had Arc Surge, or was it Surge or Singe? Surge.
Singe
Arc
is
Surge.
also on, but yeah.
Yeah. So and then I ran 2 Arc Resist, a Concussive Dampener, and 2 heavy scouts or heavy ammo finders. I was pretty liberal with the rockets. I was getting pretty good purple brick drop throughout the strike. It's pretty fun time. A little challenging. We had to we only have 3 revives left. We need to be careful. That happened a few times, which usually we're in double digits or maxed out on revives. So just the fact that we had to pay a little attention was kind of fun. I enjoyed it.
And I was Void Titan, like usual, Void Titan. But I wasn't running my Ursas. I was running Hoyle. Still running Banner instead of Bubble, just for the easy pickups. But I was using Hoyle mostly so that I could get more ability uptime and using more of that stuff because Banner is more flexible than a Bubble. You can shoot through it. You can safely pick people up, and it's just a little bit more flexible in that way. While Bubble is great for locking things down and keeping a buddy safe, but at least with Banner you can run in, pick up a boy, and slowly back out of there. But I was running an RB and hand cannon rocket just to match shields and blow stuff up, and let's see here. It was definitely weird not going in with Bubble and or not having Ursas on. But I liked having more grenades, and I liked having more little throwy shields. That way I could lob them at the Lucent Knights just to, give them the bird in my own special way.
Yeah, so this is probably going to be the hardest GM of the season, if not the second hardest. I forget what the other ones are. Historically, this has been probably the least cleared Grandmaster of the season, in any seasons. Because that boss room is tough, and that first room that you go into is also very tough, mainly because the Lucent Knights throwing the boomerang, ricocheting 500 time shields at you, to where I dodged this one, and you go to try to get another angle, and it ricochets off a teammate or off of a wall in a weird way and tracks directly to you and takes you out. I think I took us out 4 times in that first room at least.
Yeah, and that's 4 double kills too.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just one. That's 8 revives that we lost there.
And then the ad spawned and kind of just run at you, and they're no joke at that point. If you don't get the right kind of chain on them going, they'll run up on you pretty quick. So that first room, a suppression grenade. I was on suppression grenade for Hunter. is pretty good at shutting down the light bearer if you're accurate. Little rusty here with the suppressor grenade, so it wasn't real accurate every time. But it came in handy quite a bit with them to help shut them down. Yeah. And just remember, like, whenever you take out a Lucent Knight, something's happening. Another round of ads are spawning, or like some mini bosses are spawning. So as long as you're like keeping that timing in place where you're realizing like, oh, I'm killing like this mini boss, well, shit's about to go back down again. So that same pattern happens in the boss room. When you get to that boss room, you start tickling him down, and you take 1/6 of his health away. Boom, another wave of ads are going to spawn. And sometimes that includes champions, as it happens in the second phase and the last phase of the boss's health. Every sixth, you're going to be getting a new wave of ads, wave of champions. And then, of course, when we take that first third chunk down and that second third chunk down, that's when you're getting the Lucent Height spawn with the 2 yellow bar knights that just run at you with swords. That's when like the freezer nades are really important from what Fox was throwing out. It's just like get you a second to breathe.
Yep. Yeah, and barrier unstoppable were the champions in there, so that's why we had the Arbalist rolling. So it was pretty handy. And there's really not a lot of champions. There's more like the Lucent. I feel like out of all the, think of all the other like Nightfalls that we've done, I feel like this is the one with the least amount of champions. Am I crazy for thinking that, or?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just because the Lucent are so much more of a worry that
Maybe
the
that's what it
champs
is.
get put on the back burner for you. Because like in that boss room, per wave, there's gosh, in that boss room alone, I think there's like 12 champs. Because there's
That's,
like
I have to rewatch.
like,
I'm sure you're
there's
right.
2
but
champs per wave, and there's like 5 waves.
yeah,
2 or 3.
that boss
Yeah,
room. That boss room
it's
is a little
gross.
different.
Don't be afraid to use your banner shield. I would say I might go in with Ursa's next time so that I can have more banners. Because while I did die quite a bit, and so did Ryan, it would have given me more times to pick him up and to pick up Jared the 3 or 4 times that he did die. But
I think I died more than that.
be liberal with it. Don't worry about it. Oh, he's back. But you use that banner shield to pick people up as much as you need to. Don't even worry about it. You're not using it as a damage super. You're using it to protect the homies and get out. So yeah, if we ran this again, if I ran it with some other homies, I would run an Ursa. That way I can make sure I have even more uses of that banner shield. But I mean, other than that, just, if you need to practice on that first room, I'd say do it. Because if you can get through that first room with 1 or 2 deaths, you're looking really good. You're looking, you can go through the rest of it, confident. So.
Hey. Let's just pulled the old stats up here. So Jared had 9 deaths, Chad had 9 deaths, and I only had 7 deaths. So I feel like
I want to
like
say
I
I
was
feel like Jared
disrespected
had
one
a
of there.
couple of erroneous deaths because he was picking people up, or because he got hit by a secondhand shield.
Oh,
I know
was
that
just rusty
you
as
got
heck.
one of my shields. Yeah.
Like my timing of going invis and like baiting the boss to an area and then like moving before he does his slam attack. I was real bad at that in that boss room. So I didn't do that before in the other seasons, but definitely
right.
out of practice.
I will say 25 deaths total for us.
Sheesh.
That's a bunch of them.
That's a lot of champs you kill, man.
So
Yeah,
Lucent
that's
does
about-
count as getting a revive though. Every Lucent,
Yeah.
they're like champions, but yeah.
But yeah, fun time. Glad we got that one out of the way. I will definitely say that. I took a little peek last night before I got off, and the only one I remember was seeing the Heist Battleground Mars, which that one's not real fun, I don't think. So I think we got that GM coming up this season as
They
well.
brought that one back again.
I'm pretty sure I saw that on there. Pretty sure I did, which we've only ran it one time
Yeah.
total ever, and we beat it. But remember, that was the one we had a lot of trouble in, like the first area, like when you first go inside.
Yeah.
Remember, we kept taking deaths trying to get while the ghost was going up. So I don't know. I'm sure probably Glassway will be back. They really like that one. So
Yep.
Oh, also on the YouTube, you can watch our run. It's on there, and we go over at the beginning our loadouts as well as our class, how we have them set up with the aspects and the fragments. If that's something you're into, you can see that as well.
I just looked. I think we're in for some trouble. Mars is not in it, but PsyOps Battleground Moon is a GM
Moon,
this
okay.
season. That boss room's gonna be, I think, worse than Mars because there's
It's probably gonna be like double banner shield with Ursa's, and then like either like a Freezy Warlock or a Well Lock. That's what we'll have to do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be horrible.
Can't
We'll get
wait.
through it though. It'll be a fun video.
All right, next up is Gambling Corner. And apparently our somebody didn't take good notes last week, but luckily I've got it down on pen and paper because I'm old school, you know.
Yeah.
So right now, as we stand before the payouts from this week, I'm at 19,000. Fox is at 14K, and then Chad is at 6K. What we bid on last week was the next person to get the exotic trace rifle. I already forgot the name because I didn't get it. Spoiler alert.
The Navigator.
The Navigator. So Chad put 1,000
Navigator
on me to get it. Foxo also put 4K on me to get it, and I put 2K on Chad to get it. So this is doubling your money if you win. So I won. That's going to bring me up to 23K. Fox down to 10K, and Chad down to 5K for Glimmer. Of course, if one of us hits 0, we got to dismantle a God Roll or like a really high level crafted weapon. You know, like if you have like 150 level, you know, Osteo Striga laying around, that's going to be worth the 10K. Because
that right there is what people would say suspiciously specific.
Yeah.
10K? I don't agree with 10K.
But it's level 100. It's level 150, Fox.
95.
How many guns do you have? Even close to 100.
Well, that's
I mean,
I
9,500,
play.
I'm fine with that.
I'm not a meta bitch like some people are. So I use a variety of different
So
weapons.
what is your highest level crafted weapon then?
I'm not sure. Honestly, if I had to guess, it's probably in the 40s, I would say. Honestly, honest to God.
Yeah.
And it's probably Heritage or Succession. I do tend to favor one of those two quite a bit.
I think for me it's the Callus Mini tool, and I think I have one at like 86 or 90, and then I'm working on another one that's like in its teens or maybe 20 now. So
yeah, I might actually have an Icolos SMG or the Callus Mini tool, or probably in that same range. But I definitely don't have anything over 50.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
all right, so
I don't know. We'll just have to put it up and see. Maybe we'll just have to see how much it's worth.
Yeah. So we're not gambling on anything this week in Destiny. So basically because got somebody traveling. That's definitely going to happen over the summer. Your boy Not Ryan heading out and having some fun. So, but we'll be back for the pod next week. But we're not gambling on anything this week. Taking a break. Maybe just
we're gonna do a double bet. We're gonna do a double gamble next week.
I gambled on the U.S. Open this week, so we'll deal with that.
Yeah, I did see a 62 got shot today.
Yeah, 2 of them did.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Go ahead.
War time. War.
Oh, baby. So, like I said earlier, we are going through the remaining lore in the Ghosts of the Deep dungeon. We're starting off with the weapons, and then moving on to the exotic and the sparrow after that. And they're just short snippets. And the reason that Titan was important and it got zooped out because the witness was looking for something within the time ripples that he was creating, like we know and have proof of on Mars. We have some lore that I read about last week where Sloan was actually looking through the time ripples on Titan and actually watching scientists do stuff, and basically watching the witness scroll through time to kind of find out what's happening there. And we think that he was looking for Asa on Titan, but didn't get found because of Sloan. So we're starting off with the weapons. The weapons go in a little bit of a different direction, though. But we know about the time ripples already. Starting off with the Waveframe Grenade Launcher, New Pacific Epitaph. Beyond the dappled sea spray on the bedroom window, escape craft in their blue contrails sweep past the arcology as beams of orange light punctuate the sky. They cut through contrails with certainty, and before long, each craft erupts in blossoms of fire and brilliant warmth. No one is leaving Titan. Nadia Jahandar is not leaving. She has a cup of tea cooling on the windowsill, a collection of her late brother's poetry on her tablet, and the recording of her last piano recital playing on her headphones. The roar of the apocalypse accompanies her. She looks away from the window. I stepped into the stars, because the seas were explored. No dragons on our maps, islanded in a sea of night. Though it could never be home, no hearths in the Gulf. Nadia reaches for her tea, glancing out the window to watch a sea rise up in kilometers-high wall. It casts a shadow so long it throws the arcology into darkness. She will tell her brother that this poem is her favorite. No survivors, solar machine gun. Klaxons blare across the hangar. 7 terrified people huddle by the escape craft's open hatch, bracing against the wind cutting through the open hangar bay doors. "You're not leaving me behind," an engineer shouts. He holds a young man hostage, arm like a vice around his neck, pistol wavering. The last security officer looks down at his counterpart, long dead and bleeding out on the floor. He isn't sure how many rounds are left in his gun. His hands are shaking from the cold, from the reverberations of explosions shuddering through the superstructure. "Let me on. Make room for me. Move," the engineer demands, motioning to the side with his gun. The security officer takes the opportunity and fires. He's not steady, hits the engineer and his hostage. Both crumple to the ground. The crowd behind him is screaming. The security officer curses, hurrying over to save the hostage. He hears a hatch door close behind him, turns to see the escape craft taking off. He screams something, but it's cut short. The engineer was still alive. He doesn't even feel the bullet enter his spine before he hits the ground. From where he lies on the freezing cold floor, he can see the escape craft outside the hangar bay. Tears well up in his eyes. The last thing he sees is a beam of fire descending from the sky. His chest stills as the escape craft disintegrates, shot down by a warsat. Cold Comfort, rocket launcher. The submersible hits the water at an odd angle, throwing the passengers against the bulkhead. No one was buckled in before it dropped. Confusion erupts from the team of scientists as they begin their descent. The currents shouldn't be as strong as they are. Titan's atmosphere doesn't allow for that. But they are swept away. The pilot struggles to orient the craft, and for a moment they are vertical, able to see the blooms of fire expanding above the surface of the ocean. The submersible pitches in another direction, sinking rapidly. They have nowhere to go but down. Hide under the ice shelf. Wait the chaos out. Hope for rescue. One of the scientists leans out of her seat, pressing her face up against the port window. A shape moves in the dark. Too massive to be another craft. Too sinuous to be mechanical. The scientist reaches back, blindly grasping for the hand of the person seated next to her. The shape in the sea doubles back, following the speed and telemetry of the current-swept submersible. Everyone sees it now, blocking out what little light is left as they sink past the ice shelf. It dives with them. Not after, but with. She will not let them die alone. Moving on to the exotic trace rifle. My brother, uttered by Xivu Arath, god of war. A gift. My true death was from necessity. The others were from love. The Ecumene had cornered us, made us act with sickness. With my power, Oryx murdered our sister. And with our power, Oryx descended into the deep. And with our power, Oryx's wings spread wide and he blotted out the Ecumene's sky. My court, with his memory and his acts of war, he brought me back with all the splendor of a love that sharpens and kills. A grave. I will find his corpse. Where he rots, he deserved to die. We do not dig graves. The spire. I will take what is true and break it until it can no longer be broken. I will find my sister's secrets and break them as well. Voyage. My love spills out. My love engulfs. I will go out into the universe as my brother did. I will do so with my memory of him. The exotic sparrow. The Stormjoy rolls over the landscape, blanketing the coastline in the stinging fog of its exhalations. Its passing stirs crackling ribbons of lightning from Fundament's atmosphere. Zero waits in hiding, folded up, krill small as the living cloud approaches. It lowers the dangling threads of its feeding tentacles. Each is tipped with light. The light fills Zero's heart with a terrible, aching happiness. The sensation sits heavy inside her, bearable only because it is unwelcome. This will be the fourth bait star she collects. Zero dreams that when the helium drinkers strike next, she will use the bait stars to blind them, then cut them up while they writhe. She must leap as high as she can to cleave the bait star loose. The tentacle detects a stirring in the air and whips around. If she is slow, it will tear the blade from her hands. She is not slow. Her sword cuts neatly through the glistening, translucent muscle fibers, and with her free hand she snatches the falling bait star from the air. The tentacle reels away, ascending into the sky like a withdrawn rope. Zero exults. It is only when she turns around that she sees her elder sister. Orosh is standing with her limbs limp at her sides, her scrolls scattered at her feet. Zero sees in her three eyes the euphoria that is the Stormjoy's weapon. Zero leaps and tackles her sister into the dirt. After the two of them wait beneath the shelter while the Stormjoy advances down the coast, Orosh is sullen, but Zero knows it can be fixed. Look. Zero holds out the bait star. We can take joy for ourselves. Orosh lifts the star by its shriveled stalk, then cups the light in her claws like a small fire. Zero shoves her playfully, trying to knock the star loose, but Orosh holds fast. So the Stormjoy we only heard about in the Books of Sorrow on Fundament before they became Hive Gods and took in the worms. So that was neat to see them come back. But it's definitely cool to see them throwing it back to old Arash and Zero before they got turned into anything. So that might lead to if Zivu comes back or there's more lore, which again, like I said, I haven't read any of the lore yet, and we'll get into them once they're fully released. Talking more about their past, because Savathun even stated that the Books of Sorrow were written from a bias, so we can't trust everything that's written in them. But Zero or Zivu is not that she's not clever, but she is very straightforward because she's about war. She's not about cleverness. She's not about tricks. So a memory coming from her seems much more likely to be the truth than any of the others. So I hope we get more of their past. Be interesting to see, but it's also cool to see glimpses of Titan in the past and the final chaotic moments of annihilation happening at the end of it there.
Man, so I'm getting kind of excited with the more you talk about Zivu and like the dialogue that we'll get in this season from her. I really hope that like her reveal is like a memorable part of this game. And I might be just Bungie hyping me up too much, or I'm just hyping myself up too much just to let myself down. But man, I really hope that that's something awesome.
Yeah.
Time for the mailbag?
Yep.
Yay. Question 1. If all of the vendors in the tower played musical instruments, which ones do you think would be the most interesting? Or which ones would they play? Maybe? So let's start. What would Zavala be?
I feel like he'd do the piano. Like the most like old I mean it's like a
keyboard?
He could do keyboard, but he prefers the piano.
He prefers the organ.
Oh my god, that's
it's two separate things. Chad's will lose his mind.
They're pretty much the same thing. White and black keys on it.
There's also
I like to
black
imagine
keys on your keyboard.
I like to imagine Zavala as like running like a synthesizer. That's the Zavala I like to imagine.
I thought Shax would, I thought Shax would be the one with the synthesizer though.
Nah, Shax is a drummer, dog. He's got that drummer energy.
Okay.
All right.
Ikora definitely like lead guitar.
I thought she would play a classical instrument.
Like a flout.
I thought like maybe like cello. I don't
like
know.
A cello? Ooh,
okay.
I was thinking more of a wind instrument, but cello, I could see that.
Okay.
Yeah. Hawthorne, triangle. She's not a real guardian, so she can't play a real instrument either.
She's there.
Man, I really thought she had like a guitar or something in one of the scenes that she was in at one point. I could just be totally off
maybe
base.
like on her back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we'd have to get a surprise appearance by oh my gosh, Misrax with a theremin.
I don't know what that is.
You know a theremin?
No.
I'll send you a video on that. It's wild. It's super weird, but once you see it, you'll be like, yeah, that definitely is an instrument an Elixni would play.
Yeah.
Drifter, bass.
Like just the bass guitar.
Just a bass guitar.
Can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Tess.
What about your girl?
Epiverse, she would like know those like $1 flutes that you can buy that just sound terrible.
Like the kazoos or whatever?
No. I think Dwight does it on The Office like quite a bit. Of like that.
Oh, a recorder.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah. The thing that he plays like
recorder.
What little drummer boy? What was it? What was it Dwight played on that? I can't remember.
Have you seen the recorder beatboxing?
It was like bring your kids to work day, and he like played something on the flute.
Yeah, like Dust in the Wind or something. I can't remember. I can't remember what it was.
Dust in the Wind. That sounds amazing.
And then we have
Saint 14.
Saint.
Yeah. I mean,
I was going to say Amanda Holiday, but I remember she got her face melted off.
Saint 14.
Saxophone for Saint.
Sax.
Okay.
Okay.
What about whenever old Snake Face, Tentacle Face rolls through there? Zur is the guitarist, right?
He's got the double electric guitar.
the one with like two necks that makes the V.
Yeah.
I think that kind of hits everybody in the tower, right? No, Banshee. Banshee and the Cryptarch.
Banshee does EDM.
Okay.
Yeah. So he records everything and then remixes
He just has the
it.
turntable.
And then he just does the same beat over and over again. If he gets where he was.
And then forgets it's playing and just walks away.
And Cryptarch, anything good for the Cryptarch? It'd have to be pretty lame, right? Cryptarch and Postmaster is all we've missed, I think.
I think the Cryptarch is like the triangle.
Okay. What about Salad? What about Lord Salad Man whenever he comes in?
He's with the Cabal now, so he don't count.
He comes to the
He'd
tower.
have to play something heavy, wouldn't he?
No, it would be the gong, like the Iron Banner gong. Like that's all. He just stands there and
he just beat. I love that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect there. All right. I really like that question. Next week, we'll have to do the raid bosses, which instruments they would play. If your guardian had a favorite fast food restaurant, which would it be? So we have to qualify something here. Fast food means there's like a menu board outside and you can go through a drive-through.
It has a drive-through. That's all it takes to be fast food.
So like Little Caesars is technically fast food.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
It's not a quick service restaurant style.
It used to
I would
be.
still count that as well.
They used to have pizza.
Yeah, I would still. I mean, I would even still count that.
Only from 5 to
Well,
8.
Yeah.
I think so.
Allegedly.
My Titan, my Titan is a robot. So I'd have to give him something oily. I'm thinking Popeyes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just like on the move with the hunter. I don't want to just like be still. So I gotta eat something quick, but like I only want to eat like a couple times a day. I don't want to just like have to stop and eat a bunch of different times. So gotta load up. Man. I think I'm like ordering ahead to. Well, I don't have to. Panda Express has a drive-through. I'm going through Panda Express. They're ready to go. They got the rice. They got the chicken. They got the steak thrown on there, and we're going.
Okay. So in my head, my warlock is super fat as soon as he takes his armor off, and he just like morphs in, like the armor just morphs him into that appearance. But really, he's like pushing 4 bills underneath that. So saying that, I really like, and I always keep my mobility low for that reason too, you know, just to really play into that fantasy. There's no such thing as a fast fat ass, you know what I mean? So saying that, I think the best answer for this, and just hear me out, let me get through why. I think the best answer is rallies or checkers if you're one of those West Coasties. So the reason being, I can get hamburgers, I can get delicious seasoned fries. They also have chicken wings there as well, and they have pretty good chicken sandwiches. So I can really kind of hit a bunch of food that's different.
Food groups.
And yeah, hit them all, and then wash it down with a nice chocolate shake. and we're good to go. So I think rallies is my answer.
Okay.
Number 3, the Destiny franchise had a spin-off into a mobile game. Which genre would you prefer it to be?
To be honest, I don't
I
know.
don't play a lot of mobile games.
I don't know what a genre of a mobile game. So like you have like Candy Crush, which is like you moving stuff around.
Right.
Advance a level, you might like get a cartoon dialogue, and you're moving
Like
on.
a puzzle games.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you got things like AFK Arena, or where you're like you have the characters and stuff, and there's a story and stuff, but you can like make them do things while you're not even playing the game.
Okay.
Okay, I think I know what I want. A tower defense game
Okay.
where like you're protecting the last city from like enemies coming in. So like they're coming in on routes. You can put like a hunter here or a titan or turrets or like the little basic robots in different places. So I'll take a tower defense game.
Red Jacks.
Yeah.
Red Jacks.
Hmm.
Well, to be honest,
think I
I
would
saw this
do-
question earlier today, so I've put a pretty fair bit of thought into this. So you go ahead, Chad.
I think I would do because I don't want to talk too much. A Candy Crush bubble popper with the
Okay.
gems and stuff being the faces and the characters.
Just Zavala heads, just matching them up. Okay. All right. So my idea was kind of based upon the new dungeon and Chad going over the lore about the hidden coming in, right? So the hidden's kind of like this Ichorus special forces team. And we make it like a tactical RPG, like the grid-based, like XCOM or like Final Fantasy Tactics was like that, or South Park: The Fractured Butthole, something like that. So you have like the grid fighting system, and then you kind of level up. Like you had to recruit people into like your squad or your fire team, and then you have like longer missions that you go on. So like your mission would be go recover the remains of Oryx, and then there's like some sort of boss fights and stuff like that along the way. So that would be what my ideal game would be. And even though I know it wouldn't be this way, it would be like a one-time purchase of like $29.99 as opposed to like free to play with the gotcha mechanics of buying lives and being. But you know Bungie, they'd have to time gate the shit out of that game and then just nickel every bit of silver they can get
Yep.
out of you. So. All right. I think this is more of a question 4. I don't really think this is a question. More of a request. Will you guys please enter the next Destiny fashion show?
Sure. If you two do it, we'll put it in. We'll do
Okay.
we'll do it from like or like at Destiny CC Pod Twitter account. We'll do 3 separate
Put all 3 of them up.
we'll do 3 separate tweets. And then also like the followers can go like the one they like the most.
Mhm.
So they also have our own personal fashion show.
Fashion show at lunch.
Yes. We could even maybe make a YouTube video out of it.
I'll have to call
Oh,
on the ringer
Christ.
and get Shifty to help me out.
Yeah. Get the Shader King in to help us. All right. Riddle time. Last question. A man and his boss have the same parents, but are not siblings. How is this possible? A man and his boss have the same parents, but are not siblings. How is this possible?
Man, let's boss. Same siblings. Same parents, but not siblings. Is it just the fact that one of them's adopted? But that's not. They're still the parents then, even if they're adopted. Well, that's just your legal guardian. Am I thinking it through that way, Chad, or what?
I don't
don't
think
know.
you know what. I don't think you know what parents are.
I don't have any, so I don't know either.
I guess they're still the
I-
parents,
um,
even if they're adopted child. So that's their legal guardian. A legal guardian is their parent.
All right. The answer is he
Adopted?
is self-employed.
Self-employed, but he's his
Yeah.
own boss.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Not gonna lie, riddles are running out of good riddles. So
Hey,
if anybody else
haven't
has
been me yet.
has a good gimmick for that last spot,
Yeah.
we're welcome. Hit up the Destiny bad boy, not Ryan Fox, on Twitter at DestinyCCPod with any suggestions for that. Make sure you go to YouTube. Don't forget Spotify, iTunes, other podcast services. Watch our YouTube stuff. It's not super edited. I'm not saying that, we're going to win any like Golden Globes or anything for it, but it's real.
Basically, if you like the podcast, you like us just talking about stuff, and we get to even talk about even more random stuff sometimes in those. That it's basically just like an addition to the podcast, a DLC to the podcast, you would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be around. We're around on the weekends. If you want to get a raid, if you want us to raid with you, we can kind of get one scheduled, figure out a time that's good for you and good for us, and we'll get that or a GM or a dungeon. Whatever you need, just let us know. We'll try to get a time together for us to do it together.
Yeah, we are definitely in there. We try to do we have done so far this season a weekly Last Wish, which is amazing raid, beautiful raid, really fun, very mechanics heavy. So we're more than happy to let people just hang out and ride along in our backpack for the ride. It's always fun. So just hit us up, let us know, and we'll be in there.
Yeah, so typically with that, the first run will kind of just let you ad clear and kind of see what's going on. And then the next week we'll invite you back and start giving you some jobs and roles to do. Seems to be the best way to do that. So end of the show. As always, go Cats. Love you guys.